Ooh, what's going on, guys? BouseFeenux here, and at the time of this video, we're a few weeks into Season 3. The new characters have been out for over 2 weeks for Season Pass holders, and they've been out for a week or so for everyone else to play. So, now that the dust has settled a bit, I wanted to take a look at the game as a whole and kind of see where it stands right now. Positives, negatives, and all that, kind of like a State of the Union sort of thing. Moreover, I wanted this video to be more of a letter to the devs on what still really needs attention, and this is where we're at right now for new players looking to get into the game so they can see what to expect. This video is going to be 100% certified fake news free, and if it's not, you can beat my ass in the street if you run into me. Anyway, let's dive in. The first thing I want to talk about, the new characters. With Season 3, we got Highlander and Gladiator. Now, it was pretty obvious from the start that Gladiator was definitely the stronger of the two. He's a spammy little assassin with way too many unblockables and easily the best zone attack in the game. That being said, though, I think he's actually pretty well made. He's tough to fight, but he's not impossible to beat. It's not like he's got PK light attacks, but you do have to play smart against him, seeing as he's got a ton of options in a fight. As for Highlander, I almost gave up on this class, which is saying a lot considering I mained Kinsei until Rep 17, but I stuck with him, and during the double XP weekend, I really started to click with the character, and I tried thinking outside the box. The result of all of that was I started coming up with some strategies that I was having success with. Now, there are still some things on him that are totally unfair, though. Number one, his broken-ass guard break range. This is infuriating at times, and thankfully, a fix for this is on the way. But number two, the other issue is his parry punish. It's non-existent, and you can tell they made him with the upcoming defense meta changes in mind, but the only problem with that is those changes haven't been fully implemented yet, so as of now, he just feels super gimped compared to even some of the worst classes. If those things were to be tweaked, though, I think he'd be a much more solid character, but as he stands now, he's pretty much just frustrating to play for the most part. Moving on, though, let's talk about the new maps. With Season 3, we got two of them, Viking Village and the Sentinel. Both maps have new hazards associated with them, and both feel pretty different from what we've currently got in the game. I've barely played Viking Village because for some reason no one plays elimination anymore. You get it in duels sometimes, but it's not really the same as it is in skirmish or elimination. Anyway though, I'm at the point where I groan loudly whenever I hop into a Dominion match and see that we're playing on the Sentinel. The map itself is cool in the design, but the fucking ballistas are a nightmare. Whoever thought those were a good idea seriously does not understand how people really play this game. Your teammates don't help you because they're trying to troll people with them, and trying to clear the minion point is an absolute nightmare because you just get shot at all the time. I mean, I like that they've introduced new hazards like that, but it takes even more away from the focus of the game, which is melee combat. With the ballistas, everyone more or less just sits on them for easy kills and trolling potential, and not to mention, you can kill your teammates with them because that isn't a recipe for disaster, right? On to our next topic though, let's circle back to what I was talking about with the other map, which was Viking Village, because this kind of ties into the next thing I want to look at, which is player numbers / community strength, or whatever you want to call it. Now, I mentioned I hadn't really got to experience the map in any of the 4v4 modes, and that is largely due in part to the fact that no one is playing them. The most popular mode in the game right now by far is Dominion. Consistently. It gives the best XP, you can use gear stats in it, and it gives the most steel. Second to that, though, are duel and brawl modes, because those have always had a healthy population. Since Season 2, though, Elimination has had an extremely low player base. It's like overnight people just decided to abandon it, and personally, I'm not really sure why. It used to have a steadily high activity, but now, even during events that focus on it, no one really touches it. I haven't seen too much on that in the community, so I'd really like to know from you guys why people don't play it anymore. I think it's one of the better modes in the game, and I've always had a lot of fun playing it, but now, even when there are orders for it, I just resign myself to not being able to do them. I think the main fix for this would be to at least massively increase XP gain for some of the other modes, because like I said, as it stands in terms of progression, Dominion by and far gets you where you want to go with your character much faster. And another theory I have is that people shy away from modes where they might possibly have to fight someone in 1v1. I know it seems like anymore everyone wants to play a mode where they can gank for easy kills, and with the state of the game right now until we get revenge changes, it's either gank or die. So to sum all this up, the community is pretty much divided between Dominion and Duel. Out of the 5 game modes we have, the other 3 just kind of sit there not being played. But let's move on. Let's talk about something more exciting. Let's add some positives to this. Season 3 gear. I'm pretty sure that with this season, we have gotten some of the best looking gear yet, and I'd like to thank those of you in my community that sent me these screenshots. They really made gear worth repping up for this time around because a lot of these weapons are absolutely sick looking. I'm pretty excited to see what they come up with in Season 4 because if they continue this trend, we could be looking at some serious eye candy here in the future. But now, let's get into the two main reasons I wanted to make this video. Game balance and matchmaking. First up, balance. It's still a major problem. It's almost like it doesn't even exist. Case in point, let's take a look at the first major offender, Centurion. Everyone hates this fucking character. Since Season 2, he has been the undisputed king of the salt mine, and no other character in the game feels more unfair to fight against. He's got a massive amount of stamina, his CC is incredibly broken, and just one mistake against him pretty much means death, as with one punish, he can take about 90 to 100% of your health depending on what character you're playing. This dude is basically a walking cutscene, and even the most incompetent player can still be absolute cancer with him. The crazy part is he's been like this for months despite the feedback from the community. I'm starting to think that when devs go to tweak him in any way, he actually just reaches through the computer screen and knocks them on their asses. Now, he is getting a small nerf to stamina this week, and we'll see how that plays out, but honestly, I don't think even that is going to be enough. This character is fundamentally broken, and he really needs a serious look. But next up, matchmaking. As it stands now, even more than a team of 4 Centurions, this is easily the worst and most frustrating part about this game. Now, matchmaking for Honor has always been bad, but it's like since Season 3 started, it has completely gone downhill, and I know the devs are working on it, but Jesus, it's getting to be embarrassing when I try to get my friends to play this game and getting into a match just becomes a shit show. So let me lay out the current issues that I've seen so far. Number 1, you try getting into a match, you wait through the character selection screen and the loading screen before the match starts, only to be hit with the anti-cheat timed out message. And then after that, you'll try to hop back into matchmaking, only to see the matchmaking not ready error, which then usually means you've got to completely restart your game. This is very frustrating. Number 2, you try to get into a match again, only this time you're thrown into a match that's just ended, and you're in an empty lobby with maybe one other person, and the match end clock before the next one starts is on 2 seconds, so you can't even leave. Then you have to wait through another loading screen and the character selection screen so that you even have the option of leaving, or you just suffer through playing a match with bots for the first 3 minutes until real people get there, most of which will leave instantly anyway upon seeing that they've joined a Dominion match where they're losing by 800 points. Then you've got issue number 3. You join a match, but your character doesn't spawn and you're stuck looking at the map from the top down. You then have to leave and go through the matchmaking all over again, where any of these issues can and will probably happen again. And then you've got issue number 4. This one is the shittiest by far. Let's say you suffered through all of this, you finally get into a match and you play it till the end. You're ready to get your reward and move on with your life, but wait! Someone is pissed that they lost the game, so they exploit the bug that freezes the game and restarts the match. Yay! Now you've got to do it all over again, except now someone else is pissed, and rightfully so, that they've been robbed of their time and effort, so they just end up leaving the game, which can cause the whole match to crash and everyone getting kicked anyway. Now, as a personal anecdote, I shit you not, on Sunday night it took me 30 minutes or more just to get into one match that I was able to play through without some sort of issue. Sometimes it's more than that. This is embarrassing. There are massive issues, and the sad part of it is, none of these are even new. The restart the match bug has been in the game since halfway through Season 2, and it still hasn't been fixed. This is a huge fucking issue. I saw people exploit that bug 3 times this weekend during the double XP event. I can't even begin to describe to you how frustrating and embarrassing this was when I was trying to show my friends this game. It's too much. I know that you guys are trying to fix this game and that there's a million other problems you're working on, but Jesus, at least fix this one. It's game-breaking, and it makes For Honor borderline unplayable. Not to mention, it's a massive waste of time for people that only have 30 minutes or so to play, because at least 20 minutes of that is spent trying to actually get into a stable match. The last thing I want to touch on is the state of the community, which is us as the players. Since the introduction of the new chat system, a lot of the spoken toxicity has gone down because almost no one uses the in-game chat feature anymore on PC. That being said, though, there are still plenty of ways for players to find an outlet for all that salt. Restarting matches as the result of a loss, rage quitting, and running around the map when you're the last person alive during the breaking phase of a Dominion match, and a petty attempt to waste everyone's time are all still very prevalent. Another thing I noticed too is the unabated hostility towards new players. Take my new players guides, for example. I've never before been more disappointed in my community than when I read the comments on those videos. You know it's bad when the community manager for the game has to say publicly on a live stream that you guys need to calm down. It's not cool. But that's pretty much where the game is at right now. Underneath all the balance issues, the matchmaking problems, and the absolutely terribly toxic community, there's a good game. A game that I love to fucking death and I've clocked almost 800 hours in. A game with an experience that I really want to share with my friends, but honestly, I'm starting to think twice about not doing. If there's to be any hope of a For Honor Year 2, a lot of this stuff needs a very serious look and some powerful solutions very quickly. Otherwise, even I'm gonna have a tough time recommending it. But that's all for today though, folks. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like down below, and if you're new here, get subscribed for more For Honor content. In addition to that, tomorrow morning, the NDA for Absolver reviews will be lifted, and I'm gonna try and get that out, so if you're interested in hearing what I have to say about that game, stay tuned. In the meantime, join my Discord server as well by clicking on the link in the description below, and until next time, I'm BouseFeenux. I'll see you at the next one, and as always, thank you so much for watching.